of the Hancock football team, the Owls, the 9-man team. They posed for a team picture in the Vikings locker room, and it's pretty special. So that was really pretty cool for the Vikings to do that. And they had some snacks for the kids after they were done in there. Really a nice gesture by the pros for the press.
Cool. Let's go to Band of the Week, one of our favorite features.
This was neat. This was cool. I kind of wrote about this too. If you go to John's Journal, you'll see a mention of the band from Hancock High School. They were a little short-handed at the Prep Bowl because it's a small school, and 16 of the band members are also on the football team. So the band director, Janine Rupp, who's third year out of college, 24 years old, it just does a great job. It's a really good band. I tweeted some video of them and sat next to them at halftime, and it's really good for a small school band. And she said she kind of had to recruit some extra musicians, so she kind of sent the word out to alumni, recent graduates of Hancock, and they had half a dozen or so show up with instruments and played in the band. And this is a school that only has 198 students, and nearly 70 of them are in the band. So that really says a lot about Hancock High School. And I always maintain if a school has great fine arts programs, it's a great school. And clearly that's the case at Hancock with their great band. So there is your Band of the Week.
Awesome. Jackson County Central's viral video.
Yeah, this was amazing, and we took last week off. Well, since we had 2 weeks between the state semifinals and the Prep Bowl, so one of those days, in fact, Monday of Prep Bowl week, I drove 3 hours down to Jackson and spent most of the day there. And this goes back to when the Jackson County Central Huskies lost to Pierce in the semifinals at the stadium 2 weeks ago, and the viral video that came out of one of the post-game press conferences with two of the team captains talking, just emotional about what the experience meant to them being part of a team, what, the things they're going to remember. So then on Monday, in the week of Prep Bowl, the team captains, Bradley Buell Jr., Rudy Voss, those are the two guys in the video, and the other captains, Jack Brinkman and Nathaniel Post, they got a couple days off of school, which was for a very good cause. The activities director down there, Shelley Hutzler, who's a good friend of mine, she had this idea, on the heels of this video going viral, and it was all over the country and the world, and really, really a great message. She decided, let's have these boys spend time with elementary and middle school kids. So I was there Monday. They spent the entire day at one of the elementary schools, basically meeting with classes. Physical education classes would come into the little gym at the elementary school, and they would play games with them. And then the kids all sat on the floor, and these high school boys talked about what it means to be on a team, and what character means, and being good friends and good teammates. And it was really impressive just for, teenage boys to do this, to talk about how important it is to love your teammates and your classmates, and, be respectful to your teachers and your parents. And then after that, I sat down with those four guys and Tom Schuler, the coach down there. Jackson's had so much success in football over the years, but it just goes so much farther than that. With these kids and Tom, great people. These guys talked about the video and how that had spread, and hats off to AJ Feldman from the Lakeville News up in Brainerd and Bemidji. He was at the stadium covering Pierce in the semifinals. He was the only person with a video camera in the press conference, and he spread that video, and it just went nuts. These guys have heard from people in Australia and Ireland and Scotland, and countless high school athletes all over the country have connected with those guys on social media, just saying, this has really inspired me to work hard and give it everything I've got and be a great teammate. So, if you go to YouTube, you look for Jackson County Central, you'll find it. I tweeted it. It's on the MSHSL Facebook page. It's about 2.5 minutes of video, and that is really impressive. So there's also a story on John's Journal I brought back from Jackson. If you scroll down, you'll find that. Just one of the most impressive, set of circumstances I've ever seen on the high school level.
5 more categories we want to buzz through here. Do want to remind you we have a deal with Bitesquad. Promo code is TALKNORTH. Go to bitesquad.com, see what they have in your area, see what restaurants they serve, see if they have any special deals for you. Use the promo code TALKNORTH the first time. After that, keep using them. These have been a great company to work with, and they will deliver home, anywhere you are, pretty much any time of day. Also, special deal, WWD.care. It's a winter wear drive for homeless youth in Minneapolis. Lori Ramsey, who sponsors the Cheryl Reeve Show, Her business is successfulmarketinggroup.com. She's putting it on. If you care to donate money or clothing to the winter wear drive for homeless youths in Minneapolis, you can find out all the information at wwd.care. And they will also have a special show and Cheryl Reeve podcast December 15th at 3:30 at Lush in Minneapolis. And there's also, we'll also make sure that information is up at talknorth.com. All right, let's go on to coaches stepping down.
Yeah, we had kind of at least one high-profile football coach has resigned, Jim. We all know Todd Bauman was a great high school athlete at Russell Tyler Ruthven, basketball, football player at St. Cloud State, and had a lengthy NFL career. Started for the Vikings, played for several teams, a really nice NFL career, and he's been coaching football at Buffalo High School. He's been the head coach for 6 years, and he was an assistant before that. And he has resigned, and it's not because he's too old to coach football. It's I'm sure the main reason is his son Aiden, who's just one of the best quarterbacks you'll ever see, is going to graduate early here and head on down to Iowa State and start his college career. So I assume Todd just didn't want to have to miss anything involving his son. So he has resigned. They haven't named a new coach yet there, but Todd did a great job. That's a great football program at Buffalo. They have great programs in a lot of sports. Great people up there, and Todd's going to step down so he can spend more time watching Aiden play at Iowa State. And then a name that if you're not a cross country fan, you might not know as well. Ray Zimney is retired as the cross country coach at Piers. Again, another Piers reference on the podcast. Ray has only been coaching cross country there since the 1970s, so I think he's deserved some retirement. He's a Hall of Fame coach, a great guy, and big shoes to fill at those two schools.
Cool stuff. Adapted soccer state champs.
Yeah, this fell on the weekend between the football semifinals and finals. Normally there's a conflict, and I can't usually get to the adapted soccer state tournament, but I did this time, thankfully, out at Stillwater High School. They're great hosts. They have a gigantic modern athletic facility there, big building with 6 or 8 basketball courts, great community asset, a walking track up above, great multi-use facility. So we use that for the adapted soccer tournament. It goes over 2 days, and your state champions in the CI division, that's cognitively impaired, the South Washington County Thunderbolts came out on top there. And the PI division, that's physically impaired, your state champs are the Dakota United Hawks from Dakota County. So congrats to all the teams that played and the fans. It's a really fun event.
That's great stuff. As you know, we're both married to educators, and I know from my educator wife, though, she always says that, some of the challenge kids are some of the most rewarding to work with.
Absolutely. And all these men and women who coach these teams, are they special.
They do such great work.
It's unbelievable. So much fun. Yep.
Absolutely. Sack Hunger Champions.
Yeah, this is another, you kind of talked about the clothing drive. This is a thing we've been doing now. This is the second year with the high school league. We've been working with Second Harvest Heartland, one of the big food banks in the nation. And we've encouraged schools that had teams in the state football playoffs gather food, that they can distribute in their community to their local food shelves. Second Harvest Heartland can help with that. So I'm not ready to announce winners yet, but we had 3 schools at this point. I'm still waiting to hear from. There may be other schools. I'm keeping that window open for a little bit past Thanksgiving here. But I want to say a shout out to Owatonna High School, Blooming Prairie High School, and Dassel Cokato High School. Each of those schools, and usually these are student-run deals, the student council or the National Honor Society or some group takes charge of these things. And at all of those schools, each of them collected more than 1 ton of food. And it's a great thing. So the next week on the podcast, we'll know which the winning school is here, and we'll have a way to celebrate that. I'm going to be visiting at least one of these schools. I may visit all 3 because they all did such a great job. So that is going to be the wraps on that second year of our Sack Hunger campaign, and really, really thrilled with the way so many schools jumped in here.
Springsteen worked with Second Harvest Heartland for decades. I think he still does. So it's a great organization. Let's go to some basketball notes.
Yeah, a couple of basketball notes as we move into winter here. Bloomington Jefferson has had varsity basketball for 50 years. They've only had 2 coaches, and it's a father and son. If you're not aware of former coach Jack Evans and his son Jeff, now the coach. Those two guys have been the only coaches. And there's a really cool documentary film that's coming out about the history of Bloomington Jefferson boys basketball. It's going to debut December 21st, but you can get some sneak peeks at some of the interviews. Our friend Kevin Lynch, who was a great player at Jefferson, he's been part of this. He called me a while back to make me aware of this. But if you go to jeffersonbasketballdocumentary.com, jeffersonbasketballdocumentary.com, you can get a sneak peek at some of that. That's going to be pretty special. And later this week, Saturday, I'll be at Hopkins High School for the 16th annual Breakdown Tip-Off Classic. This is boys basketball. They did the same thing with girls basketball on the Saturday of the Prep Bowl, so I was occupied. I missed that one. But if you want to see a lot of great basketball, and these are some of the best teams in the state on Saturday at Hopkins, there's going to be 16 games on 2 courts from 9 a.m., and they won't be done. It'll be after 10 o'clock before they're done. It's just game after game after game, 2 courts. And something intriguing to me, I was looking at the teams that are involved, and there's maybe more than half a dozen teams that also played at the Prep Bowl are going to be playing basketball there Saturday. So like a guy like Jalen Suggs, he's going to be playing basketball now. I mean, football season's been over for days and the basketball season is here. So the Bold basketball team will be there. Champlin Park and Wayzata, the 2 6A football teams. I don't know how many of those football players are also on the basketball teams. Jalen Suggs, as I said, who plays at Minnehaha Academy. Minneapolis North, they got a bunch of 2-sport athletes there. And then Caledonia, a bunch of those football players are also playing basketball. So that may be a story I could follow when I'm there, is talking to some of these kids about that quick transition from football to, you play football on a Friday or a Saturday, and on Monday you're at basketball practice. And, by the end of that first week of your basketball season, you're playing in the Tip-Off Classic, which is a pretty high profile and a great event.
I think it's admirable. I love the fact they're just staying active and diversifying their abilities.
Absolutely.
I'm a little afraid of the last category for this show. Look who's on TikTok.
Be. Okay, you wear TikTok, Jim? You know what TikTok is?
I've heard of it. I don't really know what it is.
It's about a month ago. I had not heard of it, but if you have a TikTok account, or if you want to open one, go to MSHSL1, and I am now the oldest operator of a TikTok account in the world, I'm sure, because by the looks of what I see on TikTok, and it's basically just videos, with some sound. It looks to me like the general theme of TikTok is 15-year-old girls dancing in the kitchen of their house, maybe with a friend. That there's a lot on there. I haven't even begun to explore. Other people have said, well, my daughter likes to look at dog videos. So you can follow specific accounts. You can search, and I do follow the Vikings have a TikTok, which is pretty cool. The Timberwolves do. The Gophers do. I don't know if the Twins do. I couldn't find one. But if you want to see videos from the Prep Bowl, including a segment of that famous Jackson County Central video and a video I shot of those 4 captains talking to little kids in Jackson, that's all on MSHSL1 on TikTok. So I have a 28-year-old daughter, Jim, and when I told her, hey, your dad, who's also a grandpa, I have a TikTok account. And she said, what are you doing? That's for high school girls. That was before I knew that. But I can confirm that appears to be what it is. And I've also seen little videos with woodworking tips and kitchen tips. But if you go to you're not going to get any of that on the MSHSL1 account, but you'll see some cool videos, some game action stuff, some winning touchdowns, some behind the scenes stuff at the Prep Bowl, and heaven knows what's going to be on there in the future. But we're gonna plug away on TikTok.
Well, we know what's going to be on there in the future. Russian propaganda will be on there in the future. So get there before the Russian propaganda gets there.
Right.
That's the key for all social media.
Cheese and Russian propaganda. Exactly. What could go wrong?
Great stuff from John. Check out his stuff at mshsl.org at John's Journal. Thank you to Brandon Morton. Please follow us at Talk North Pod on Twitter. We would appreciate it, and you'll be able to keep up with the network as a whole and some developments we have coming in the near future. Great stuff as always from John. Thank you for listening. Talk to you soon.